G'day and welcome to another Pokemon Go video. So jumping into Go Battle League, and we are in the Great League. So jumping into Premier Cup, and the team I'm going to run is Lapras, Togekiss and Gallade. So Lapras running Surf and Ice Beam, which is different to your Skull Bash variety. Togekiss running Ancient Power and Flamethrower, and Gallade running Leaf Blade and Close Combat. So I've got a link to my other videos in Season 4 Great League, and I'll link that so you can check that out. So let's jump into the first match. Machamp to lead, so not a great lead for me, a little bit of lag there swapping out, but that's fine. Out comes Dragonite to counter, which is again not ideal for me. Going to throw the Close Combat here, so it would have been really nice to get to the Close Combat before Dragonite got to a charge move, because then it would have had less farm, so it would have potentially taken me out with that Dragon Claw rather than be able to farm me down. Thankfully they didn't get another charge move off on the Lapras there, so all is good. So back out comes the Machamp. So for this one, just going to have to look to surf it because they're going to swap it again. So going to look to try and catch a move here, and we're able to get the cross chop. Got to be really careful of the rock slide there. Flying type will be super weak to that, and then in the back is an Ampharos, so this is going to be GG's unless I can get the boost here. So going to throw the Ancient Power. Of course it's going to be blocked, but trying to get the boost. No boost, and this is going to be a good game. So really bad lead, and they had really good counters for me there, so able to match up everything very, very nicely. So sometimes there's not much you can do. Your opposition just has all the right counters. So Lapras in the lead into Swampert, so that's not too bad for me at all. So obviously they're going to Earthquake here to start with. I still don't shield, even though it is Earthquake. I don't think one person has Hydro Cannoned me so far with a Swampert lead. It's always Earthquake, but going to let that go. So the second one, too quick. Expecting a Hydro Cannon, it is, and that doesn't do much damage. So then they swap out into the Meganium. So this is a big misplay by me, and what you want to do here is swap into the Togekiss, because its moves are going to be doing absolutely nothing. Got the Earthquake and going to be double resisted, so because Flying's immune to Earth, to ground type attacks, and then Leaf Blade's going to be resisted, and there I didn't even get off the next charge move. So out comes the Togekiss, which is what I should have done to begin with. It does get to a charge move, and then I am able to charge it down. So really bad for me there, and going to come out with the Scizor. I'm going to fake the Flamethrower, because obviously Flamethrower is going to absolutely tear through Scizor. At this point I know that's GG's. I made a completely horrible swap, so no point shielding it up and just let that go, get that game over with. So a pretty poor start there. So first game had all opposition had all the right counters. Second game, huge misplay by me there. Yeah, to lose that one. So game number 3, I have got the right leads. That's really good. What have we got on here? So he tried to make a swap out, and again, the swap's not going too well. Going to let this Body Slam go, and then going to have to shield up the second Body Slam. The swap feature is a little bit laggy. These are from a few days ago, so hopefully they've been fixed by the time you're seeing this. Just wasn't able to do any sort of sack swapping or anything. Could barely swap just when I wanted to, let alone try and time a sack swap. So Snorlax takes out the Gallade there, but does burn the shield, so really good for me. Going to have to eat another Body Slam here, which is fine. It's going to do a lot of damage, and I'm going to have to commit to the farm down, but they do swap this out. So what I want to do here is get to the Ancient Power, and Ancient Power is a horrible move, but it is super effective. So and I was never going to get to the next one. So I've got a lot of energy stored here. Unfortunately, the energy is going straight into this Lapras, and I've got to look to farm this down. So I do have a shield, and I'm really hoping that this is a Surf and not a Skull Bash. So it is the Surf, which is really good. And then they decide to switch into their Dragonite. I do have an Ice, well, halfway to an Ice Beam, able to get to the Ice Beam before it can get to a Charge move, and absolutely able to one-shot it with that Ice Beam. And that is the benefit of having Ice Beam on my Lapras over Skull Bash. Absolute one-shot that Dragonite. So they come out and they've got Ice Beam on there. It does absolutely no damage whatsoever. Going to throw the Surf and be able to take that game. So good game there. I think they wanted to swap in their Dragonite to get to a charge move, but because I'd over-farmed on and had some stored energy, they weren't able to get there in time. So really good for me. So into the next one, and this is not ideal. So possibly there I should have gone into, well, there I definitely should have probably gone into the yeah, because obviously Gallade is a massive counter, so the Confusions, as you saw, did huge damage to the Toxicroak, so they're going to always swap straight out. So out comes the Lapras, expecting, I don't know whether this is going to be an Icy Wind or a Shadow Ball. It is the Icy Wind, so absolutely fine, no shielding it. Expect the Toxicroak to come back out, and was able to switch in and catch a charge move. So absolutely outstanding, actually able to do a swap and catch a move. So out comes their own Lapras, and it does throw the Surf. So what I'm going to do here is throw my own Ancient Power. I do expect to get the shield, which I did, and then looking to absolutely go to town farming this. And can I get there? No, I can't, but we do faint at the same time. So I've got energy on my Lapras. I was able to burn the energy from the Toxicroak onto my last Pokemon, so really good there. So able to grab the last shield and then going to Ice Beam for the win. So at that range I could have thrown a Surf and taken it out. I just went for the Ice Beam because who doesn't want to take a little bit of extra risk? And we'll jump into the next game. So in the next game, leading good old Lapras. Let's see what we've got. And we've got their Togekiss on the lead, so not a bad matchup. Out comes a Scavalier. So the reason I've swapped into a Scavalier is because I can usually tank all of its moves. So it is running with Acid Spray, which thankfully I didn't shield, but it is super effective. It does absolutely no damage, but as you can see, the and able to undercharge that and get one more little farm in. So as you can see, it does mean that I've been debuffed twice now, so this thing is going to absolutely tear me apart. And one charge move from the Togekiss there, and it did take me out. So I'm expecting them to swap, and I'm going to instantly swap as well, just because Gallade has absolutely no play against their Togekiss. So I really need to get to the charge moves on my... well, get this Gallade out of the way, and I'll use it on the Gyarados here. So Gyarados using Aqua Tail. So I'm going to use one shield just because I'm not going to be able to... Togekiss is not going to get to 2 charge moves before I take it out or it takes me out. So there's no point throwing... well, there's no point storing both of my shields for the Togekiss, and here I'm going to throw straight into my Surf, and they don't shield because they know it's GG's at this point. They didn't get the boost, so that's game over, and able to take that game because I could have just farmed them down. So able to go 3-2 there, so not too bad. Those first 2 games weren't great. The second game was 100% my own fault. So jumping into the next set, Swampert on the lead. So this is not too bad. Again, expecting to see an Earthquake, but they swap straight out. Switch into my Togekiss, and it is running the Aerial Ace, so of its charge moves, this is probably going to do the most damage. Although Aerial Ace is still not going to do, and then they throw a drill run for bait, and no shield that, so that's absolutely perfect. So I want to undercharge this a little bit, but unfortunately I think I've undercharged that just too much, so I'm going to have to let this go, and then I'm going to lose switch here because of that undercharge. So that's really unfortunate for me, but that's okay. I know that my Gallade can beat Swampert in the back, and out comes the Swampert. So I'm going to have to shield this up, and I'll be throwing my own Leaf Blade. So I want to over farm a little bit, because if they decide not to shield, I do want to have energy, and then it ruins their counting, so they can't then get to a charge move before me and farm up the perfect amount of energy. So able to get to the charge move with very minimal health left on Gallade, so this is absolutely perfect. And then I want to swap straight into my Lapras. I've got the shield for the first Frenzy Plant. Shields are down on their side, so able to throw the Ice Beam and take that game. So really good there, storing that energy on the Lapras to take out the Venusaur in the back. So really good game there. Jumping into the next one, and let's see what we get. So unfortunate, should have won switch with the Togekiss, but just underfarmed a little too much. So be aware of that. So this one's not too bad a lead, so I would rather a waterfall variety. I'm going to go straight for the Ice Beam here. I usually don't get a shield, and no shield goes through there as well, so that's absolutely perfect. Does huge amounts of damage. They actually throw the Outrage and then swap out of there, so I'm going to switch into my Togekiss here. Do not need to shield this up. It's going to be a Leaf Blade. Not going to do any damage, and then I'm going to be able to absolutely go to town farming this thing down, and then there goes their Gallade. So out comes the Venusaur, and again I'm just going to throw the Ancient Power because I expect this to get a shield, which it does, and not going to throw the Flamethrower there, and then look to farm down. Not going to throw a shield here, going to let this go. Frenzy Plant, going to take it out, and then I'm going to come in with my own Gallade. I do expect them to switch out of here. They're not switching out, so that's fine. And then I will look to farm down. So there's the switch out, and then I'll switch straight into my own, and then throw the Surf. So I don't know why I'm throwing a Surf here. Should just throw the Ice Beam, but they did shield that up, and then able to get to another Surf, almost able to take it down, and then able to fast move farm down the Venusaur. So absolutely perfect there, really, really good. So it worked out in my favour not throwing the Ice Beam, because it allowed me to double up on those charge moves. So jumping into the next one, and we'll see how we go. So Venusaur on the lead is not ideal for me, so I'm going to swap straight into Togekiss, straight into the Gallade. So really hoping I don't get a shield here. So I did get a little bit of a head start on farm. They do shield the first one up, which does mean that I am going to be very, very weak to them. So going to look to get to another close combat, and we'll see if we get a shield this time. So they've not shielded that one, which is fine. And then because my defense has been debuffed, that is absolutely going to take me out. So going to let that timer count down a little bit. Going to come out with the Lapras and farm down, and then out comes the Venusaur, and really hoping to get to a move before it is able to throw the Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb. And there's the Sludge Bomb, and that's going to almost one-shot the Togekiss, and then Ampharos in the back, and this is GG. So they've shielded that one up, so really good for them. And going to throw the Focus Blast and take me out, and that's good game. So again, had some very nice counters. Ampharos does give me a lot of trouble, especially when they can with the Togekiss, and if I have to swap out of that lead match, and I've got Togekiss in the back, so that Ampharos really does cause some trouble. So jumping into the next game, and we'll see how we go. So error out of that one, so we'll jump in and try again and see how we do. So again, I'm in rank 8 in these matches, and again Gyarados on the lead. So Waterfall Gyarados, so even better. This one I'm going to switch into the Togekiss. So I know Togekiss doesn't do huge amounts of damage, and this is another one running Aerial Ace, which is unfortunate. However, the charge moves on Cresselia don't do huge amounts of damage either. So sort of take that, and it's a better option than the Gallade. So able to charge that down by not under farming this time, and out comes a Crustle. So really interesting there. And I'm trying to think of what to swap out here. So out comes the Gallade, and going to be able to farm down. So unfortunately, its bug type moves are going to be super effective against me, so I do need to take this thing out as sort of quickly as possible. Able to grab one shield, and then they swap into the Gyarados, which is a really good swap there. Able to do a little bit of extra damage, and then going to look to catch a charge move on the Lapras, and able to do so. So I'm hoping that this is an Aqua Tail. It's not. It's a Crunch, but still, it doesn't really matter. Neither of those moves do too much damage, so I'm going to look to try and take this out, obviously using the Surf to make sure I don't do too much damage, and then going to be able to throw another Surf onto the Crustle. Again, don't bother shielding because they know that's GG, so really good game there. Able to match up pretty good in the back there. So we'll jump in to the next one and see what we can get. So again, Lapras on the lead for me into Abomasnow. So this is actually really good. Well, not really good because Abomasnow has access to grass type moves, but it is not resisting my ice type because its ice type doesn't resist ice, so that's not too bad for me. I'm going to throw the Surf here to try and bait out a shield. If I get a shield here, happy days. If I don't, I'm in trouble. So able to get the shield. I am going to shield this one up as well. It is the energy ball because it would be taking me out. So now I'm going to over farm and then throw my energy. So hoping to not have a shield there, and they double shielded the Abomasnow. So that's really unfortunate for me. I'm going to shield this one up. Throws the Weather Ball, and I'm going to throw into, unfortunately, the Ice Beam registered before, so we CMP tied, and I had to use all that energy. So out comes the Machamp, and then they swap that into the Gyarados in the back. So that's looking pretty good for me there. The thing you've got to watch for is Rock Slide on Machamp when you've got a Togekiss matched up against it. So let's see if I can farm this down. I'm able to farm it down, and I'm going to throw the Close Combat on the Machamp as soon as it gets out of there. And that's going to be almost enough to take it out, and they leave the game. So good game right there, and able to go very positive in that set, able to go 4-1, so really good set there with that team. So a few early mistakes, so switching in the wrong thing in game number 2, and a few times when it's people just have the right counters. Sometimes it happens in your favour, and sometimes it doesn't. So really good games there. Hopefully that was useful for someone. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure as interesting it is to see a Trico here, as interesting it is, it's yeah, so very exciting. But hopefully that was useful, seeing Lapras on the lead with Togekiss and Gallade in the back. Hope it was useful. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.